What's up YouTube? So for today's video we will be making a creamy spinach mac and cheese. We will be using all white cheese, 3 different types. So I hope you've gathered all your information so that way you can make it at home and then tag me. So follow along. Alright, so the first thing that you're going to want to have is your large pot filled with water. Once your water comes to a rolling boil, you then want to add your salt. I'm going to briefly go over the ingredients that you're going to need. First, you'll need some spinach. You'll need some white cheddar cheese. You'll need some crispy onions. Next, you're going to need any pasta of your type. These are the ones I personally like. Any short pasta is fine. You're going to need 2.5 cups of milk, butter, unsalted, plain breadcrumbs, some garlic. I did 3 cloves, 1 small sweet onion, half a cup of Parmesan shredded cheese, and this delicious cheese here was a block of, hold on, it's coming to me, Fontina. It's like a very creamy, soft textured white cheese. It's so good, and it's going to make this delicious mac and cheese. I think I mentioned pretty much everything. I also have my spices here, which are salt, pepper, and some nutmeg. If you want to add a little bit of special spice, you can add paprika or chili powder. Okay, so step 1, once your water is boiling, take your pasta, 1 pound, place it directly into the boiling water. Let this come to a boil. We're going to boil the pasta for 10 minutes. While this is going, have all your ingredients measured out. It makes the process so much easier. And also that you should have your oven preset already to 325 to bake the mac and cheese. Okay, so now what you want to do is get another medium-sized pot ready on the stove on medium heat. Once this pot gets hot, you're going to add the butter and the onions plus the garlic cloves that are already chopped up. I'm going to add the onions and the garlic. And basically what you're looking for, I'm not sure if you can see it, but is that the onions turn clear, and you're just going to continue mixing this. Once the onions are fully clear, you're then going to add the flour. Did I mention the flour before?
Nope.
I probably didn't. Anyway, it's 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour that you're going to want to add to the butter, onions, and garlic once the butter is fully melted and the onions are translucent. Stir, 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 don't stop stirring. So at this point here, it should already be a thick mixture. Here is the butter, the onions, the flour, and the garlic. You want to just keep mixing. Make sure it doesn't stick or burn to the bottom. This is called a roux. Now what I'm going to do is start adding the milk. And with one hand I'm going to try to get this done. I think my measuring cup has a hole in it. It's leaking. I apologize for the mess. While this is cooking, just make sure to give them a stir. Look at these gorgeous noodles. Taste the pasta and see if it's done. Should have only cooked for 10 minutes. If you want it a little softer, possibly 12. Let's try it. It's done. Grab your strainer. Carefully grab the pot. And add the pasta back. Alright, so we're gonna let that sit while this is cooking. Remember, all that's in here is just a few ingredients that I've already stated. Once the milk comes to a short boil, not overwhelmingly boiling, you then want to add the spinach. And so your pasta doesn't dry out, add some olive oil. Just a little bit. I would say that was maybe a cupful. Alright. Once the milk turns golden, you want to switch from a spatula to a whisk. And I'm going to use a medium-sized whisk. I'll just stir this together. And now you're going to add the spinach. This part may seem a bit overwhelming, but trust me, the spinach cooks down very quickly. This is an 8-ounce bag of spinach. Add the entire bag. If you want to stir it in little by little, whatever you want. So here's the spinach mixture with the cream mixture. And I'm just slowly pushing it down so that the spinach can cook and become, I guess you'd say, wilted. That doesn't sound too nice, so. Once the spinach is going down, you're going to want to add the spices, the salt, pepper, and the nutmeg. Okay? You're going to want to stir that in. Remember, your oven should be on. Now you're going to want to add your cheeses. We're going to add a little bit at a time of each cheese, because the rest of it's going to be for the topping. So now that the cheese is in here, just gonna want to make sure it's fully melted. Stir, stir, stir. Turn the noodles every now and then, that way they don't stick together. Continue to mix. Just want to make sure you take a look in there, make sure the cheeses are melted. And while that's melting, I'd want to say to get your pan ready. Spray it down with your olive oil spray, coconut spray, whatever you have, whatever you want. We're gonna add a little more cheese. Mix, mix, mix. Mix, mix, mix. Sing a song. Mix, mix, mix. All right, the song's over. Let me tell you how hot it is in here, because I have to shut off the AC so that you can hear me better. And I am burning up for you. Okay, so now what you want to do is pour this mixture, the creamy spinach mixture, into the noodles and then into your tray. Creamy spinach mixture into the noodles. Don't forget these delicious onions, all right? Now we're going to mix it all together. Now that that's all done, we are going to pour this into the tray. We're going to mix it here because I guess the spinach wants to stay in a little family household over here. I think I should have got a deeper tray. All right, so now what you're gonna do is grab all the rest of your cheese, your breadcrumbs and your onions. All the rest of your cheese is going to go on top of it. This creamy cheese is like melting on its own. That's how hot it is in here. here is the mixture before it's going into the oven. It is all mixed together and all the extra cheeses were placed on top. And now I'm going to add the breadcrumbs and the crispy onions. Crispy onions. Breadcrumbs. And this is how it looks before it goes into the oven. I actually raised my oven a bit to 350 so it can get nice and golden. Into the oven it goes. While I clean up, I just quickly want to say, besides the fact that I'm hot and I probably look extremely shiny and greasy, you want to let this cook for at least 25 minutes. Check on it and just make sure that the breadcrumbs and the onions have this golden, nice, beautiful color, and it will be done. You want it a little crispy on the sides, I'd say leave it in for 30 minutes. Be right back. Okay, the timer's up. Let's take it out the oven. Not sure if you can see it, but again, I will be showing you a close-up. All right, so in total, I would say with prep, time in the oven and everything should be about an hour, maybe 15 minutes to prep, and the rest of the time while cooking and in the oven, about an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. Didn't take too long. I'm going to be showing you a close-up of the mac and cheese, and I will show you a plated version so that way you can see how it looks once it's on the plate, and pretty much that's all. Once this comes out the oven, I would say let it at least cool down for 5 minutes so that when you break it apart, it doesn't just like everything slide all over the place. Unless you don't mind, then go for it. If you do make this mac and cheese, please leave me a comment on how you felt about it, if you added something, if you took something out, if you're not an onion person, remove the onions, maybe add some bacon bits. That would actually taste really good. But yeah, add whatever, the recipe's yours. I will link everything down below and have all the instructions as well. So if you do decide to make this video, please tag me at my Instagram, which is Simply Whipped. I will place it here on the screen, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks again. Bye.